Hi guys, welcome back to Seduce Me. I know it's been a while, but as before, yeah, school gets in the way. But anyways, starting off with Matthew's route, I'm going to settle in and just skip past through certain things and others. This is the updated version. Supposedly there's supposed to be a new password, but so far I haven't really seen anything from what well then again, I've just basically skipped through most of it. But hopefully we'll find out. They're my brothers. They're in your head. They're in your head. ... Caesar reached out and poked Matthew on the forehead, making him stare cross-eyed at her finger.
Hello to you too?
Seems real to me.
They're not imaginary.
It was no use. There was no time to lie to them. I felt helpless. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder and felt the tension in my body almost fade away. I turned my head to see James smile at me before stepping in front of me.
We must apologize, ladies. We know this situation must be confusing for everyone. Let's take this to the dining room and we'll explain everything.
I stared at James wide-eyed. Was he going to tell them who they were? Everything seemed surreal. Before I knew it, I was led to the dining room along with Suzu and Naomi and sat across from their confused gazes. As Naomi and Suzu sat down, Eric and Matthew placed their untouched plates of food in front of them, surprising their guests.
Whoa, this looks amazing!
Thank you!
Our pleasure, ladies. We hope you enjoy your meals.
Make sure you dig in!
I looked to Naomi and Suzu as they began to eat, visibly enjoying every bite they placed in their mouth. Hopefully the food would ease their minds for whatever James wanted to reveal. As Naomi and Suzu ate their impromptu meals, James and the other boys stood behind my chair, making me grow red in the face. Oh no, don't die on me, computer. There you go.
So, Anderson, are you gonna tell us what's going on?
Well, you see, Gently, James placed a hand on my shoulder again, signaling to just eat my food. As I began to eat, he spoke to Naomi and Suzu.
We are Miss Anderson's house servants. We were hired by her late grandfather to help around the mansion, but since he has passed, we now assist Miss Anderson with living on her own.
That makes sense. It's such a huge house.
A huge house for a wonderful princess such as Miss Anderson deserves the greatest of servants to care for it.
But why are you all dressed so casually and stuff? Aren't servants supposed to have uniforms or whatever?
Well, Miss Anderson allows us to get comfy while we work, so she lets us wear casual clothes.
Yeah, something like that.
We're sorry if we made the situation awkward earlier.
We're very sure that Miss Anderson is also still getting used to having us as her servants. It would be very hard to explain after just a day.
I guess.
So, if I may ask, what brings you two ladies here?
Well, we wanted to see how our friend was doing. Since it's the weekend and all, usually we hang out and just chill.
Yeah, you don't care about how, my grandpa just died yesterday. Nope. Oh, it's just like any other day, you know. Just moved into a new house. All by myself. While I'm heavily depressed. Anything could happen.
Yeah, like going to the arcade and stuff.
Or the Pink Lady Cafe.
There's an arcade?
That makes a lot of sense, ladies. Well, we don't wish to disturb you any further than we have, so we'll take our leave and start preparing the house.
Huh? Preparing for what?
We gotta prep the house for some sort of housewarming party thing.
I just noticed, but Damien doesn't speak once during this whole conversation.
Our princess's parents requested a housewarming party to be held here soon.
And by soon, they mean tonight.
Oh, well, I guess we can help out or something. Right, Naomi?
I thought you wanted to go to the arcade.
This housewarming thing is more important.
No need. We can handle it. If you'd like to, miss, you can go out with your friends while we handle things here.
Seriously?
Sam, not now.
There we go. Well, I want to help out, but at the same time, I wanted to go out with my friends. James gave me a look of understanding, letting me know that if I left, everything would be okay. I just had to make a decision. I'll stay here and help around the house.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Besides, it is my housewarming party. I should help out too.
Want us to help out as well?
I think we got it taken care of. Thanks, though, girls.
All right, we'll head on out then so we're not in the way.
Sorry, guys. I'll hang out with you guys soon.
It's all good, Anderson. We'll definitely come to the housewarming party tonight.
Thank you. I led them back to the lobby and walked into the doors, opening it for them with a thankful smile. They both gave me hugs before walking out to Naomi's car, which was parked in the driveway. And with that, they left. I was happy that they wanted to help, but I had to do this on my own. It was not their work, so I didn't want to force it on them just because they were my best friends. We had the entire day to work. The party was tonight, and we had to do all we could to make everything right. We sat down and talked about what we needed to happen before the party started that night. Each guy had been assigned a different part of the party to do, and right after lunch we began to work. Since everything was taken care of by at least one incubus, James told me that I could assist one of them. The question was, who? Matthew with cooking. I walked into the kitchen and instantly looked over at Matthew, who was quickly slicing up strawberries and placing them in a nearby bowl. Sorry. I walked over and looked over his shoulder to watch. Matthew didn't seem to mind, so I decided to ask him a question. What are you making?
I'm going to make a large batch of strawberry cupcakes.
My favorite.
These strawberries are going to be the top pieces.
Yum! I want some. Oh, that sounds delicious. Can I help?
Yeah, I kinda hoped you would. Can you start by making the batter for the cupcakes? I put the ingredients and some directions on the counter over there.
I should be able to manage that. No problem. I nodded before heading over to another counter where a string of ingredients and a small note card of directions sat at the ready. I smiled and began to work, mixing the ingredients and pouring the batter into cupcake tins to bake. I had to admit, I made a little bit of a mess, but I felt like the cupcakes were still fine. There we go. Now we just need to wait. As I turned to face Matthew, I noticed Matthew's red face. I tilted my head before I walked over and moved his hand a bit towards my face. He stopped, however, before looking... What? Oh! As I turned to face Matthew, I noticed Matthew's red face. I tilted my head before he walked over and moved his hand a bit towards my face. He stopped, however, looking to me for permission. This is new. Touch my own face? Nod to it? I don't know. I don't remember. Nod? Yeah. Matthew continued to move his hand towards me, gently brushing a finger over my cheek. My senses tripled, feeling his finger wipe over a small stain of powder and cream that had landed on my face. Ooh, I thought he was gonna go lean in for a kiss.
You, got a stain.
Psh, right, smooth. Matthew's finger was ginger and timid, wiping the stain off with the little contact as possible. Lightning shot through my body at each wipe, running down my spine in jolts. Dang. It's powerful stuff. I closed my eyes, unconsciously leaning into the touch and naturally wanting more. However, Matthew pulled his hand away, causing me to open my eyes and look at him. Matthew was biting his lower lip and had pulled his hand to his chest.
Sorry, I got it all?
Aww. Oh, thank you. Matthew quickly shook his head and grinned his goofy grin at me before continuing to make an appetizer for the party. I blinked a couple of times, wondering if what I saw was real. The hour of the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party, knowing my dad he invited his business partners and the executives of the Anderson Company to show me off. I stood in front of my mirror in my room, staring at my form as a million thoughts ran through my mind. It was just a housewarming party, but at the same time, it wasn't. It was my chance to show my dad that I was better than his expectations. It was a chance for me to see my parents as a woman. It was my test to see if I was ready to live on my own. Well, not truly alone. I had the incubi to thank, but even so, I didn't have my dad guiding me or my mom helping me through living alone. A knock on my door broke my thoughts, surprisingly. Who is it?
Hey, are you okay in there? Your parents should be here soon, so you should hurry getting ready.
Well, I'm ready, but...
But what? I'm sure you look fine, Anderson. Just come on out.
All right. As soon as I opened the door to the hall, I watched Naomi and Susan's faces turn from smiles to complete awestruck stares. What?
Dude, you look hot.
Yeah, you look amazing! Where did you get that dress?
I've had it for a while. I just never had a chance to wear it. I figured I might as well bring it out now. I stepped out of my room and closed my bedroom door behind me as I walked down the hall of the grand lobby. The incubi stood waiting for me at the bottom, all dressed to the nines as proper servants.
Whoa! They really know how to dress well, don't they?
Yeah. I was slightly taken aback on how great the boys looked in uniform. Each had the poise of a perfect gentleman, even Sam. I slowly began to climb down the steps with Susan and Naomi behind me. The boys watched as I descended the staircase one step at a time like knights waiting for their princess. I felt my face flush slightly, but I quickly shook my head and tried to regain my senses, my thoughts. Wouldn't it be just so funny if you just tripped and went barreling down the steps? You'd be completely humiliated. I've done that tons of times. As I reached the last step, James offered his hand to me and walked me down the final step, smiling.
As beautiful as a princess, miss.
Thank you.
So, are you prepared for tonight?
As ready as I'll ever be. I couldn't deny that I was nervous, but I had to try. This party was more than what it seemed, and I had done all that I could to prepare for it. Now it was all up to fate. The other boys smiled assuredly at me, which made me feel a little better about everything. I looked at my phone and marked the time. Almost right on the cue, the doorbell rang. I gulped. I could practically feel my dad's aura from behind the door. Sam and Eric quickly rushed to the door and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad.
Oh my, I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I was completely shocked. My parents didn't question the boys. They didn't ask for verification or anything. I looked to the boys and noticed Sam and Eric staring intently at my parents. Were they using their powers on them? They had to be. There was no way they'd be okay with this otherwise.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
You're a jerk. My mother quickly rushed to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back, inhaling her perfume. It had only been a couple days, but living away from the ones who raised me was hard. My mother soon let me go, and I looked at my outfit.
Gorgeous.
Man, it's pouring outside.
You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
And there's thunder to be expected. I looked to my dad, who was looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground, waiting for him to look at me. When he did, he let a small smile grace his lips.
Your mother's right. You look like you're all grown up.
The world around me stopped as my heart pounded hard in my chest. Did my dad just compliment me? On his own accord? My mother was grinning ear to ear at his words. I was beyond speechless. Thank you, Daddy. However, his cold face quickly returned as he began to look around once again.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Andrew. My potential?
To become CEO of the company.
I knew it. Something was off about tonight, and now the party had become much more than I anticipated. I gulped silently, but I nodded in response. I looked to the incubi, but they were continuing to be servants for my father's approval. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Susan raise their thumbs at me in encouragement. I let out a small breath before feeling my body accept the situation. I felt a weight in my gut, but I had to hide it. As if time zoomed forward, all of a sudden, the main hall of the lobby was full of guests. Men and women in formal or business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many to come, but I was once again surprised that night. I shook hands with many officials and executive members, putting on the professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid it well behind a small smile and handshake. Many even asked me questions. I tried my best to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember, say what they want to hear, not what they want to say.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
I'm doing my best. It's been pretty good, actually. Well, I feel it.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Thank you for your condolences.
Do you have college plans?
Yes, I do. I felt the questions came up one after another. It was tough to answer some because some of them weren't about me. They were about the company.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
It will get back on track.
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
Its policy reflects my own values, and I personally think it's great.
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
It's a possibility. Eventually, the questions stopped and I was back to being myself. Naomi and Susie were mingling with the crowds and the incubator doing their jobs, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. It was unnerving to think that about, but at least I wasn't being questioned left and right about anything anymore. And I'm gonna save. Happy Cinco de Mayo, you guys. Although it doesn't really matter to me. Suddenly, my mom pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This kind gentleman is the son of the vice chairman.
With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple of years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, suddenly asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
Place your hand in his. As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed over my knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited here.
My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Huh? Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Oh, wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their personal questions. I looked at Andrew, who had a kind face to him. Something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether it was good or bad, I was not able to find out. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly, whether it was fear or insult. Andrew locked eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Well...
I stared at Andrew. This guy was the... I stared at Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO? I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
If you'll excuse me.
Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. Follow him. I quickly followed Andrew, wanting to be sure he was all right. I felt a little embarrassed that my dad put him on the spot like that. I had to apologize. We wound up outside. The stars practically danced on the grass as we stood in the backyard of the mansion. It had been my first time in years being out there, but my thoughts weren't on the nostalgia. Hey, Andrew? Andrew turned to me in surprise. However, his face was completely red in both embarrassment and humiliation. I felt terrible.
Oh, I didn't see you or hear you following. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I should be the one to apologize.
What for? You didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, for the way my father behaved. He shouldn't have been so...
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, I should have expected it and been more prepared.
Andrew rubbed the back of his neck and gave a goofy grin. It was intriguing, seeing Andrew's professional side and seeing a goofy smile away from everyone. Still, I'm sorry about that.
It's not a problem, really, but thank you.
We both smiled at each other before I reached my hand out to him. He tilted his head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Yuki. My name is Yuki. And understanding, his smile returned before he took my hand gently and shook it.
That's a pretty name. I'm happy to know it now.
Nah, it's not that nice.
I have to disagree with you. It's much better than Andrew. I mean, who names their kid Andrew?
People? A lot of people do.
But how about Axel or Ace? Something cool like that.
Kingdom Hearts and some other thing. I couldn't help but laugh at him. He was pretty chill for a guy who was supposed to be a vice chairman's son. He grinned and laughed along with me. I don't know why, but I felt warm. Where there was an almost non-existent breeze or the situation we found ourselves in, it felt nice.
Lewis!
Oh no. And just like that, the feeling had vanished. We both turned to see my dad at the doors of the mansion, staring at Andrew with an almost deadly glare. Andrew straightened up, trying to maintain a business posture.
Yes, sir?
Your limo is in the front. The driver has requested that you return home. Now.
What, does he have like a curfew even though he's like 20?
Oh, all right. Thank you, sir.
Andrew quickly nodded to me before speeding back into the mansion to leave. As I took a step to follow, my dad stepped in front of me. Dad?
I don't want to hear it. Do not become friendly with him. He wants to take the company away from us. You have no reason to be friends with him.
Before I could retort, my dad turned away and walked back inside, muttering about how the party was nearing an end. I sighed and entered the house as well, wanting for the party to end immediately. Eventually, only Susan, Naomi, my parents, and the incubi were left. My dad suddenly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him, a wave of confusion washing over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Oh, thank you, Dad.
Keep it up, and you'll be a good CEO.
Oh, right.
All right. Your mother and I have to leave. I'm sure Naomi and Suzu need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Oh, right.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party.
We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Right. See ya.
Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Will do. When Dad's not around, all four of my remaining guests left the building, and all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, exhausted. That was tiring.
It's not like you had to do any work, though.
Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
As expected, Princess.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Ugh.
Hush, Sam.
Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
Ho ho ho! It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
Wouldn't it have been crazy if they showed up when, like, guests were around. But from what I, like, been reading on, like, Tumblr and stuff, is that certain people wouldn't allow humans to find out about supernatural beings. So, but still, something to keep in mind. I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice from my dreams echoed through the air in my ears. I looked around panicked, alongside the incubi. James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
All of us shot our heads towards the doors, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. The doors quickly swung open, revealing a sight I would have never expected to see. Skin red as blood, eyes black and gold piercing into mine, roughened up clothes and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster. I covered my mouth, not to scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck. He smirked at me, and the boys routed. Because the red-skinned man was similar looking to the woman in matching thug-like clothes.
Aw, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. We all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see a bullet through Sam's face, but...
What the fuck?
What?
What should have been a headshot ended up with a loud bang, and with a loud but empty blank shot. The pistol echoed its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. One moment, please. I need to do something really quick. Back. I'm probably only gonna do maybe like 20 more minutes of this. Or maybe 10. I don't know. I'm keeping it short for now. What should have been a headshot ended with a loud but empty blank shot. The pistol echoed in its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Why the fuck won't you work?
This place is protected.
What did you say, Shrimp?
This place has a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
Shrimp, he's like about your size.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ah!
The man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall in the final stop. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into a black flame that disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malik.
Malik. That was his name. His existence resonated in my memory from the dream I had. However, I looked to Matthew in the same confusion as Malik did. The place is protected by magic?
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Malik's face grew of that of extreme anger, his fist tightening as if he was crushing a stress ball.
Then what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
Out of pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malik and the boys. With no power, Malik was going to fight. I wasn't going to fight. I took the chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I used to. Leave them alone. Malik stared wide-eyed at my words. I could see the boys do the same from behind me. Malik smirked and leaned in nose-to-nose with me.
And just who the fuck are you?
That's none of your concern.
You got a big mouth, nameless bitch. You best be careful who you speak to.
Hey, the meter's a lot slower now. Duck. I ducked underneath Malik's incoming hand. I stared at his hand with the black flame tattoo in surprise as I took a couple steps back from Malik. Matthew and Damien stepped in front of me, guarding
A quick one. I'm liking you more and more.
Back off, Malik!
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her.
Shut up!
Oh, did I make little Matthew cry? Why don't you just grow a pair?
Enough, Malik!
The woman, who had been standing in silence the whole time, planted a firm hand on Malik's shoulder. Malik looked back at her with a growl and glare that could kill.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know you've never controlled me. I want them dead just like you do. But now's not the time.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Do you? Even if you did fight them, there's 5 against 2. We never win.
Shut up!
Let's go, Malik! We're wasting our time!
The two growled at each other. If they could have used their magic, I could sense that fire would glow from under their teeth. Malik grunted and glared at the boys. He pointed at James, wanting so badly to use his fingers like a knife.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good.
Then Malik turned to me, moving his finger to point directly between my eyes.
And don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
With that, Malik and the woman walked out of the mansion. The doors closed behind them, leaving the boys and I alone once again. I felt my knees give out from under me, forcing the voice to quickly turn to catch me.
Whoa, whoa! Are you alright?
Yeah. Why was he here?
He's been closely tracking us. Our blood trail from the forest must have led him here.
We should have stopped him and finished it here.
For once, Matthew, I agree with you.
I stood up and rubbed my arms, feeling the goosebumps Malik left behind me. I couldn't stop myself from shivering in fear of his words. Malik, was he a demon?
That son of a bitch is not a demon. He's a devil.
A devil? There's a difference?
Yes, demons come from a different plane of existence called the abyssal planes. Devils, however, come from one of the 7 circles of a place humans know as hell. Despite us not being human, we are very different creatures.
We actually have brains, for one. Devils always like to cause trouble and try to kill or torture others for their own enjoyment. Demons, like us, know when to use our powers and when not to. We're not stupid.
Devils follow orders from higher-ups in their order, and their power only comes from their connection to hell. Demons all have free wills and don't rely on where they came from to use their powers.
This was all so confusing. Demons and devils and magic all existed, and I happened to land in the middle of it. What do we do?
You're safe. You've been protected as well.
What?
What Damien's saying is that the magic that protects this place also protects you.
Your grandfather must have cast it when you last saw him or something of that nature. We can sense its aura around your body.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was the 3rd day of surprises, and this one took the cake in being the most surprising. I felt my head spin once again. What did I get myself into?
Miss, please don't worry. We'll find a way to train ourselves and become stronger to finally finish this feud.
I'm gonna kick his ass right now!
Until then, we'll protect you as much as we can. If Malik comes back, we'll be here for you.
But what about going outside? Won't he?
Like we said, you have a protection spell on you. Even if Malik attacks you, he won't be able to use his magic on you. He'd be just like any other human you can fight back against.
So that's a little more clear now.
Didn't you say you knew Taekwondo?
Well, yeah. I felt somewhat relieved that I was mostly safe from Alex. Still, I could not help but feel nervous and apprehensive about the future. The boys were safe here to train to make them stronger, but what if Alex did the same? Even more so, I was lost about how my grandfather knew about magic. I had to find out. At least I had time. I went to bed with that night feeling nervous. Despite the words of the incubi, I felt like a target to something I'd never be able to explain or prove. Magic? Devils? Demons? How did all this even happen? Should I really meddle with the situation? They're only staying until after they defeat Malik's. That's right. They'd only stay as long until after they defeated Malik's. After that, my life could go back to normal. Temporary insanity, as Kay would say. The question was then, would I want them to leave? If my life went back to normal, then I'd have to take care for the house all on my own. I'd get to focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'd have to. My life. Where was my life going anyway? I was under pressure from my parents with only my friends and the boys to comfort me. Without the boys, I'd have no way to hide from my responsibilities. Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with tomorrow when it comes. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me. Hopefully, whatever the future had for me, I would be ready for it.
I promise to be with you forever. You're so important to me.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Please, let me love you.
I'll be by your side, always.
I can't imagine living without you.
I want to be with you.
I love you.
I slowly opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m. Why am I up so early? I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to go back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace across from my bed. A sigh escaped from between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 a.m. in the morning? I decided it was a good idea to wander around the house. I never really explored it much as a child, so there were bound to be new surprises. Well, come on, feet. Let's go on an adventure. I stood and exited my room, hoping that the boys were still asleep. I began to wander the halls in my end of the house, opening each door to find what room each door led to. Quickly, I found an old office. A desk and chair sat by the far side as a large bookshelf of documents and memorabilia donned its nooks and crannies. There were a couple of pictures of me growing up peeking from the shelf as I walked further into the room. I don't believe I've been in here before. Cool.